All right, guys. Here it is. We've been building up the ranking of all 10 Dio studio albums. It is time, and I've been waiting for it. I've been reviewing them, doing these little short reviews, but I've kept it, enough to where at least I hope so. I've kept enough to where I didn't reveal my favorites or any particular order of any of them. But yeah, this is worst to best in my opinion. And if anybody has any differing opinions on these, awesome. That's awesome. In fact, that's what makes it interesting when other people have differing opinions on stuff like this. That's what keeps the conversation going. And while I dug out all these Dio albums and stuff, I just thought I might as well go and show off my copy of Dio's Intermission. It's got a bonus track on there. I just thought I'd show that off. I was digging some of that stuff out as I was digging out all these Dio albums. That was up in here. So let me make sure there are 10, right? 3, 4, 5. Yep, there are 10. Alrighty. And we'll start it off number 10. And I just, if you've seen my reviews for these, I love all these albums. I think these are all actually great albums. Not all of them are quite masterpieces like some of the others higher up on the list. But these are all great albums. But number 10, I'm going to have to go with Angry Machines. And, this came out in, 96? Great album, as I talked about. Some of my favorites, Institutional Man, Don't Tell the Kids, Black, Hunter the Heart, Double Monday, Big Sister. This is all good stuff right here. Different tone on the album, for sure. Kind of went into more, I wouldn't say industrial, because it wouldn't sound like Nine Inch Nails or nothing, but it just sounded robotic, which is funny enough, the album cover. But this wasn't the one that started that whole trend. I think it was really Strange Highways that did that. But yeah, this is number 10 for me. Awesome album with, Tracy G on guitar, or I think I said that right. Yeah, I think that's who was on there. Was his name? Yeah. But Tracy G on guitar and just good stuff. Speaking of Strange Highways, that's what we're looking at with number 9 here. Strange 1993's, I believe. It's either 93 or 4. I think it was depending on UK. I think it came out in 93. 94 was a US release. But yeah, Strange Highways. The second 90s Dio album. This one, like I was just saying, really started this whole kind of robotic stuff, which I think is cool. I really do. It makes for different stuff. This was Tracy G's first Dio album. Some of my favorites off here: Jesus Married the Holy Ghost, Firehead, Hollywood Black, Evolution, Pain, Blood from a Stone. All good stuff. Again, not those two 90s albums, well, really there were 3 of them, which I'll get to, later on, the third one. But these two were really a different time for Dio in his career. It's almost really, I think, what started that whole trend was if you listen to Black Sabbath's 1992 album, Dehumanizer. Dio I've heard stuff about him kind of really wigging out about some of the whole industrial takeover. And honestly, he wasn't too far off, if you ask me. Look now. But yeah, that's my number 9. Number 8 here. We're going to go with the concept album, the only concept album in this discography, Magica. What an incredible album. This was the return of Gus G on guitar. I said Gus G. Sorry. Craig Goldie had Tracy G on the line. And then an Ozzy album I was listening to the other earlier. But yeah, Craig Goldie, was his return album. This came out in 2000. Again, if like I said on my review, the whole concept is kind of, I wouldn't say it's bland, and honestly, I've never really listened to the entire, on this, there's like, he tells you the whole story or whatever. I've never really cared to listen to that. I know what the concept is and all, but it's not anything too extravagant. But some of my favorite tracks off here: Lord of the Last Day, Fever Dreams, Feed My Head, Losing My Insanity, As Long as It's Not About Love. Those are some of my favorites off here. And this is a hell of an album to start off, the 2000s for Dio. And I really suggest getting the, I don't know how new they are. They may have been, 2009 copies of, I don't know if they did, I know they did Magica. They're like, booklets and, hard covers here. Not a jewel case. They did that. And then obviously my Master of the Moon copy that I have as well. They did one of those. I don't know if they did any of the other later Dio albums, but these are really cool to buy and come with a bunch of bonus content. But yeah, my number 8 is Magica, 2000's Magica. Number 7 here, 2002's Killing the Dragon, the only album with Doug Aldrich. And I'm going to tell you, I really had a hard time deciding between this, which one would go higher, this one, or the one I put next. And honestly, I had the same situation with Strange Highways and Angry Machines. I had a hard time, deciding which one would go above the other. I had to really dig into those. Magica, I kind of figured where it would go. And then, like I said, I had a hard time with this one and the one that is right above this one. But yeah, Killing the Dragon, Doug Aldrich is an amazing guitar player. Honestly, it would be interesting to see. I know Craig Goldie came back after this on the last Dio album, which was fitting. But it would be interesting to see Doug Aldrich. It would have been cool to see if he would have stayed, what direction the band would have taken, because it was shredding on here. It was awesome. But yeah, I would say some of my favorites off here are Killing the Dragon, Rock and Roll, Guilty, Throwaway Children, Cold Feet, Along Comes the Spider. I mean, this was an incredible album, and after revisiting it, and I really dug it the first couple of times I'd ever heard it, but after revisiting it for this review series, I was like, man, some of these tracks I just slept on, like Before the Fall, Cold Feet, and Guilty. I just forgot about those, so I was like, man, it was cool going back to that. But yeah, that's number 7. Number 6, Master of the Moon. And yeah, used to I would rank Killing the Dragon higher, but I don't know what it is. I've been jamming to this lately since I did that review a couple days ago. I forgot some of the tracks. I slept on some of those tracks, I guess, the first couple of times I heard this album. But coming back to it, I love One More for the Road, Master of the Moon, The End of the World, The Man Who Would Be King, The Eyes is one of my favorite Dio songs. In Dreams is incredible. Living the Lie. This album is just incredible, man. And I was really Killing the Dragon. I just kept going back and forth, but I just really landed on this one. And it turned out, what a fitting end, to the Dio band's discography. And what a great album. I just can't recommend this enough. Really went back to the roots of the band, and Craig Goldie came back on this one, so it really got the gang back together for this last one. Alrighty, where are we at now? 10, 9. Alrighty. Here we go, top 5, halfway through. Right, number 5, Sacred Heart, 1985's Sacred Heart. Vivian Campbell's last album with Dio. And man, what an album. This thing, I used to have it ranked a little bit higher. Honestly, I think some of there really aren't any sleeper tracks or anything. I know all these tracks just front and back. Also memorable. Vivian Campbell just kills it with his last, going on here before he would join River Dogs and later Def Leppard. But yeah, some of my favorites off here, Another Lie, Rock and Roll Children. Oh man, what a great song. Hungry for Heaven's good. Like the Beat of a Heart, Just Another Day, Fallen Angels. Man, and the title track. What an incredible album. This was just, those 80s Dio albums that was my favorite era of Dio, just constantly just pumping them out like that, whether, Vivian was on there or not. But with that being said, number 4 is Dream Evil, Craig Goldie's first album with Dio. And I used to have Sacred Heart above this one. But after listening to this again, I was just like, man, those riffs that Goldie brought to the table on tracks like Night People, Dream Evil, Sunset Superman, All the Fools Sailed Away, Naked in the Rain is probably one of the best songs off here. I Could Have Been a Dreamer, Face in the Window. Man, this album is just killer. It's heavy as all get out. And this came out when, 87? And, weirdly enough, this was the last album Craig Goldie was on until 2000. I don't know what happened there, but he's kind of been, ever since then, he's considered one of the main Dio guitar players. Even I guess back then he was, because he just did such a damn good job on this album. But yeah, amazing album here. And this is where it gets a little controversial with these top three. Number 3, and I used to have it at number 2. And it was very difficult. I used to have it lower, then it got higher. This one's bounced around because I love this album so much, but it is the first album. Number 3, 1982, I believe. Yeah. 83. Holy Diver. I know a lot of people have that up top, but, you know, I mean, I do love this album so much. It's one of my favorite. It's one of the best debut albums of all time, period. Nobody, I mean, it would be interesting finding someone who would dispute that. But, you know, Stand Up and Shout, Holy Diver, even though that's a big radio hit, it's badass. Don't Talk to Strangers, Caught in the Middle, Invisible, Straight Through the Heart. Rainbow in the Dark is a little overplayed, but still a decent track. It doesn't take away from the album. But yeah, this thing's just loaded, and it's got just that magical vibe to it. And man, this is easily, like I said, one of the best debut albums of all time. And I know a lot of people would have it number 1 or even number 2, but this gets a little controversial. Number 2, 1990s, Lock Up the Wolves. I know it. This thing has bounced down to 3. It's bounced down to 4 before, but I mean, I can't get enough of it, man. Rowan Robertson's only album with Dio, and it's so heavy. It sounds real, some of the riffs sound real Sabbathy, and it's got a whole eerie vibe to it. This is my second favorite one. I just gotta land on it. What a freaking album. Tracks like Wild One, the opener. Hey Angel, my God. Whew, that's a great song. Between Two Hearts, Lock Up the Wolves, those are 2 epics. Just groovy tracks. Walk on Water, Born on the Sun. And then the closer is probably my favorite, well, I don't know about that, but easily one of my favorite Dio closers of all time, My Eyes. What a beautiful track. It is just, man, this album is a masterpiece. I know some people would rank it lower than some of the other 80s ones, and I get that. I used to be the same way, but after, you know, just years and years of, you know, jamming to this album, I just can't get enough of it. And I play this thing all the time. But yeah, you know, the process of elimination, you can tell what my number 1 is. My favorite Dio album of all time. This is my first Dio album I ever listened to, and I've heard it just so many times. The Last in Line, the epic Last in Line. Man, every track off here is one of my favorite Dio songs ever. I'll never forget hearing this thing for the first time. And cool enough, you know, the first time I ever heard it was on vinyl too, this exact copy. And I had to play it again. I was like, oh my God, what did I just hear? You know, and it just takes what Holy Diver did and just kicked it to the next level. And this one, what came out in 84? Or I believe, yeah, 84, the year after. And this is Vivian Campbell, of course, his second album with the band. And probably some of his best guitar work ever. I mean, man, you open up with We Rock. What a heavy track. The Last in Line, an epic, beautiful song. Even though it was a big hit, I don't care. That's one of the best freaking Dio songs. Breathless. Whew. I mean, every track off here. I Speed at Night. One Night in the City is one of my favorite songs. The solo in that is so freaking good. Evil Eyes. Mystery's beautiful. Eat Your Heart Out's got a nasty riff. In Egypt, The Chains Are On is epic. And that may be my favorite Dio closer of all time. This album is perfection. 10 out of 10. A masterpiece. I think everybody could agree on that. You know, this one, just about if you check out anybody's list, I'm sure this one ranks really high, if not number 1, at least in the top 5, because it's just so damn good. And it's one of my favorite metal albums of all time. The Last in Line is just incredible. And, you know, that's the rankings there. I'm super glad to have gotten through all that. That was super fun reviewing all those. And then finally, you know, culminated to this, ranking them. But I'm going to go ahead and announce, like I said last time on my last review, the next band I'm going to be doing, it's an 18 album band, and it's the heavy metal band. I won't only just be doing metal on here, by the way. I love synth pop groups like Duran Duran, The Fix, stuff like that. But yeah, this band that I'm going to be reviewing all theirs and then ranking them is none other than the metal gods, Judas Priest. I'm super hyped for it. One of my favorite bands man, I've been, I kind of paused while I was doing those from listening to Priest because I'm always listening to Priest. Love them. But I was like, while I was knowing that I was going to review them next and then rank them, I just kind of halted listening to them for a little bit, so I can get a fresher listen and for the reviews. And man, it was kind of tough. I was like, there kept being times I'm like, I want to pop this Priest album on, but I was like, I guess I'll wait. I'll go ahead and wait until so I'm not burnt out on any of them or have overplayed any of them, which is hard to be with the majority of Priest discography. But yeah, I'm super hyped. So next video you'll be seeing is the album review of Judas Priest Rock-A-Rolla. We'll start that off, and I'm super hyped for it. But yeah, that was, man, feels good getting the whole discography reviewed and then now ranked under my belt. Thanks guys for, viewing it, and just keep, I hope everybody likes the series here. I'm also looking to do some other stuff on this channel as well. I'm a big horror movie fan, even though it's past October. I watch horror movies year round. I'm going to be delving into a little bit of that. I got a big shelf over here full of them. But, and I'm going to be doing series of that and just ranking them. And so, yeah, I'm going to be doing some stuff like that. Maybe, who knows? But this will be, the main thing is going to be the music stuff because that's just my favorite. But, thanks guys so much for, watching them through all these and, commenting and liking it and just keeping, interacting with it. And I just hope everybody enjoyed it. Thanks so much.